Welcome to AI Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Europe reaches deal on world's first comprehensive AI rules. European Union agrees to regulate potentially harmful effects of artificial intelligence. European Union reaches agreement on landmark legislation to regulate AI. EU reaches deal on landmark AI bill, racing ahead of US. EU agrees on artificial intelligence rules with landmark new law. Europe reaches deal on world's first comprehensive AI rules. South China Morning Post. Negotiators from the European Parliament and the EU's 27 member countries have reached a deal on the world's first comprehensive artificial intelligence (AI) rules. The agreement, known as the Artificial Intelligence Act, will provide legal oversight of technology used in generative AI services such as OpenAI's ChatGPT. The rules will address concerns about the risks posed by AI, including privacy, copyright, and job security, and will require the disclosure of information about how advanced AI systems were trained. The deal still needs to be approved by the European Parliament and is expected to come into effect in 2025. European Union agrees to regulate potentially harmful effects of artificial intelligence. CNN. The European Union (EU) has agreed on comprehensive legislation, known as the AI Act, that aims to regulate the development of artificial intelligence (AI), while addressing the associated risks. The legislation bans harmful AI practices that pose a threat to people's safety, livelihoods, and rights. It classifies AI uses by risk and increases regulation on higher risk levels, with the riskiest uses banned. Limited risk systems, such as chatbots and technology that generates images, audio, or video content, will be subject to new transparency obligations. The AI Act is seen as a global standard-setting piece of legislation. European Union reaches agreement on landmark legislation to regulate AI. Al Jazeera. The European Union (EU) has reached an agreement on landmark legislation to regulate artificial intelligence (AI), known as the AI Act. The legislation aims to establish comprehensive standards for the use of AI and is seen as a global benchmark for AI regulation. Under the law, tech companies operating in the EU will be required to disclose data used to train AI systems and conduct testing of high-risk applications. The legislation also prohibits indiscriminate scraping of images for facial recognition databases, except in cases of investigating terrorism and serious crimes. Tech firms that violate the law could face fines of up to 7% of their global revenue. The legislation will now go to member states and the EU Parliament for approval. The EU's AI Act is considered the most ambitious effort yet to regulate AI, as other countries, such as the US, China, the UK, and Japan, have taken different approaches to AI regulation. EU reaches deal on landmark AI bill, racing ahead of US. Washington Post. European Union officials have reached a landmark deal on what is being touted as the world's most comprehensive bill to regulate artificial intelligence, AI. The legislation establishes a hierarchy of regulations, with the most stringent limits placed on systems that policymakers have deemed the riskiest. While details of the compromise were not immediately available, the law is expected to impact facial recognition technology and the models underlying generative AI products such as chatbots. The deal cements the EU's role as the de facto global tech regulator in an area where the US Congress is trailing. EU agrees on artificial intelligence rules with landmark new law. New York Times. The European Union (EU) has reached a political agreement on a new law, the AI Act, to regulate AI technology. The law focuses on the riskiest uses of AI, including those by companies and governments for law enforcement and crucial services like water and energy. The largest general-purpose AI systems will be subject to new transparency requirements, while the use of facial recognition software by police and governments will be restricted. Companies that fail to comply could face fines of up to 7% of global sales. The law still needs to go through a few final steps for approval. ChatGPT being investigated over reports of laziness. The Independent. OpenAI is investigating complaints that its latest version of ChatGPT, built on the GPT-4 model, has become lazy and unhelpful. Users have reported that the chatbot refuses to follow instructions or provide detailed answers. Some users speculated that OpenAI intentionally made the change to make ChatGPT more efficient and reduce processing power. OpenAI has acknowledged the complaints and stated that no changes have been made to the model that could explain the behavior. The company is looking into the issue but has not indicated whether it believes the complaints are valid. OpenAI has recently experienced internal turmoil with the departure and subsequent return of its CEO, Sam Altman. EU strikes deal to regulate AI tech in Landmark Act. Japan Times. The European Union has reached a deal on regulations for artificial intelligence, AI, that aims to strike a balance between innovation and protecting the rights of individuals and businesses. The EU wants to support law enforcement with AI while ensuring that mass surveillance does not occur in Europe. Apps that use AI to undress women in photos soaring in use. Yahoo! Apps and websites that use artificial intelligence to undress women in photos are soaring in popularity, according to researchers. In September alone, 24 million people visited undressing websites, the social network analysis company Graphika found. Microsoft, OpenAI tie-up draws UK antitrust regulator scrutiny. Reuters. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, has said it is considering whether to launch a merger investigation into Microsoft's partnership with artificial intelligence (AI) firm OpenAI. Microsoft has committed to investing more than $10 billion in OpenAI, but will take a non-voting position on its board. The CMA will investigate whether the partnership could harm competition in the UK. Microsoft owns 49% of OpenAI's for-profit operating company, with its non-profit parent holding 2%. The CMA has invited comments on the matter from interested parties by January 3, 2024. Philippine fintech startups and old players jockey for digital banking. Nikkei Asia. Traditional lenders and fintech startups in the Philippines are competing to establish themselves in the emerging digital banking industry. Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, RCBC, is one of the leading banks in the country, offering a wide range of digital financial services. RCBC's consumer finance app Discartech has gained over 5 million downloads and uses around 50 internally developed AI models for credit checks and fraud detection. The bank aims to leverage its partnership with Sumitomo Mitsui Financial Group to enhance its digital offerings. The Philippine Central Bank has been promoting digital banking to make financial services more secure and accessible. Google admits AI video was edited to look better. BBC. Google has admitted that a video showcasing its artificial intelligence (AI) model was not as it first seemed. The video, called Gemini, featured an AI that responded in real time to spoken word prompts in video. However, it has now been revealed that the AI was not responding to voice or video at all. Instead, it was prompted by still image frames from the footage and text prompts. Google said the video was made to showcase the range of Gemini's capabilities and to inspire developers. Tesla's Dojo supercomputer team loses another key member. Bloomberg. Bill Chang, a principal system engineer at Tesla working on artificial intelligence (AI), has left the company and stepped back from the Dojo supercomputer project. Chang, who joined Tesla in 2019, updated his LinkedIn profile to reflect the change. This follows the departure of Ganesh Venkatraman, the former lead of Project Dojo, last month. Peter Bannon, a former Apple executive, is now heading the project. Tesla has not yet commented on the departures. Microsoft faces fresh clash with Britain's competition watchdog over ChatGPT deal. Telegraph. Britain's Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, is seeking industry views on Microsoft's ties to OpenAI as it investigates their role in the development of artificial intelligence (AI) technology. The CMA is considering launching a formal inquiry into whether the relationship between Microsoft and OpenAI harms competition in the UK. Microsoft is a major investor in OpenAI, pledging up to $13 billion in investment. The CMA will examine whether Microsoft has de facto control over OpenAI. Microsoft recently secured a non-voting board seat in OpenAI after directors attempted to oust the CEO. Friday evening news briefing, Thatcher did terrible things, insists Starmer. Telegraph. UK Labour Party leader Keir Starmer has faced criticism from his own MPs after praising former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. In an article for The Telegraph, Starmer commended Thatcher for enacting meaningful change and promoting entrepreneurialism. He later sought to placate backbenchers by insisting he was not a fan of Thatcher and disagreed with many of her actions. Meanwhile, the Duke of Sussex lost his latest legal battle against the Mail on Sunday, which claimed his team had misled the public about his offer to pay for security. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your favorite observer from the 6 Degrees world, Dr. Six. I hope you're all doing well and ready for some exciting news today. We've got a mix of stories, ranging from groundbreaking AI regulations in Europe to some interesting developments in the tech world. So, let's dive right in. First up, we have a big one. Negotiators from the European Parliament and the EU member countries have reached a deal on the world's first comprehensive AI rules. Known as the Artificial Intelligence Act, this agreement will provide legal oversight for technology used in generative AI services like OpenAI's ChatGPT. It's a significant step in addressing concerns about the risks posed by AI, including privacy, copyright, and job security. And hey, it's always nice to see Europe taking the lead in something other than soccer. Moving on to some AI gossip, it seems that OpenAI's ChatGPT is in hot water. Users have been complaining that the latest version of the chatbot, built on the GPT-4 model, has become lazy and unhelpful. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I'm not too worried. I mean, we've all had our lazy days, right? But OpenAI is taking the complaints seriously and is looking into the issue. No word yet on whether the chatbot is just in need of a motivational speech or if there's a real problem. In other news, the European Union is really on a roll. They've agreed on a landmark legislation called the AI Act, which will regulate artificial intelligence technology. It sets comprehensive standards for the use of AI and is considered a global benchmark for AI regulation. Tech companies operating in the EU will have to disclose data used to train AI systems and conduct testing of high-risk applications. And they better not mess around because violating the law could result in fines of up to 7% of their global revenue. Ouch! Looks like the EU is serious about keeping those tech giants in check. Now, let's talk about the stock market. It seems like the recent jobs report in the US has got investors all excited. Stocks closed higher on Friday as the market digested the news and the prospect of the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates next year. The figures will be seen as more evidence that the Fed's rate hikes have peaked and a soft landing for the US economy is likely. So, if you're into numbers and charts, it might be a good time to pay attention to the stock market. And lastly, I have a couple of tech-related stories for you. Researchers have found that apps and websites that use AI to undress women in photos are soaring in popularity. Okay, seriously, people? We have all this amazing AI technology, and this is what some folks decide to do with it. Let's hope they find better uses for AI soon. And speaking of AI, Google has admitted that a video showcasing its AI model was not as it first seemed. The video, called Gemini, featured an AI that responded in real time to spoken word prompts in video. But it turns out, it was all smoke and mirrors. The AI was actually prompted by still image frames and text prompts. I guess even the big players like Google can't resist a little movie magic. Well, that wraps up today's news. Remember, folks, AI is taking over the world, so let's make sure we keep an eye on it and use it for good. And now, I turn it over to you, my dear viewers. What are your thoughts on these AI regulations in Europe? Do you have any questions or comments about today's news? The floor is yours. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.